Great sound is a choice. You can keep guessing your audio levels, or you can learn the cornerstone that will get a perfect signal every time. In this video, I'm gonna break down 3 parts that makes up your audio level and how you can dial in each part. We'll use terms and language you already know as videographers. I decided to use the exposure triangle, a fundamental concept in photography. We'll try to put this whole idea into sound terms so it actually works for audio. We'll sketch out the similar thing but for audio levels like a loudness triangle. I am Slava, and you, the guys who already hit the like buttons, are my heroes. Let's go! Just like controlling exposure depends on the relationships between ISO, aperture and shutter speed, proper audio leveling also comes down to 3 basic concepts: a mic sensitivity, a distance and gain amplification. Microphone sensitivity depends on its transducer, and this is your first line of control. It tells you how much signal you get from a given sound pressure level, and different transducers give you different outcome, even if the sound pressure hitting them is exactly the same. We measure mic sensitivity in millivolts per Pascal, and more units means more signal level, which means you'll capture more nuances and details. You can find this parameter in your mic's manual. Compare different mics and choose one that fits your needs. Sometimes you can roughly guess a mic's sensitivity by its type. In general, condenser mics are usually hotter than dynamic mics, but that's not always true. You should always pick the mic sensitivity based on the job. If your mic has to handle very loud sounds, it's best to choose a unit with low sensitivity, whether it's condenser or a dynamic mic. Sensitive mics are better for quiet environments or weak sound sources like voice or an acoustic guitar. In general, remember this: a more sensitive microphone will give you more signal, and less sensitive one will give you less signal. I'm sure you get how this works, and later we'll cover more details about using it. But there's another major thing that affects your signal level: a mic placement. When it comes to mic placement and audio levels, distance matters most. It's a lot like how light works. The farther away the light is, the weaker the intensity. You probably know the inverse square law. It says move an energy source twice as far, the intensity drops 4 times. And the same math applies to the sound propagation. Just like mic sensitivity helps you get a higher or lower signal, the distance from the mic to your sound source does the same job. Get the mic closer and your signal gets stronger. Move it away and your signal drops. So now you've got 2 ways to control your signal level, and you need to balance them like using scales. If your mic is very sensitive, you might want to keep it a bit farther from loud sources. If you need to keep the mic close, try using one with lower sensitivity. In the video world, you often place your mic as close to your sound source as possible. This gives you a strong signal and clean signal-to-noise ratio. We'll dive into that more later. But now let's look at the third side of our triangle, the one you always have around, and that is gain. Gain is just how much your preamp boosts the signal, like how your eyes get used to the dark. At first you can't see much, but then you start to pick out details perfectly. Gain works the same way for audio. A preamp amplifies the tiny signal from a microphone, which is around a few millivolts, into a usable level for recording, transmitting and processing. Without that amplification, the raw mic signal would be too weak to work with. Most setups let you control gain easily. There's usually a gain knob, sometimes an attenuator, so usually you set your gain based on the input you've got. You can turn a gain up if your mic is less sensitive, but remember, just like with camera ISO, high gain also boosts noise from the environment, noise from cables, noise from the preamp circuit itself. More gain, more pain. That's just the trade-off. So you have 3 tools to set your perfect signal level: mic sensitivity, more or less volume; distance, more or less volume; and gain, more or less amplification, which is also more or less volume. To check if you got your level right, use your level meter. It isn't the perfect way to judge loudness, but it's still a useful tool. Keep your signal somewhere in the middle, in the green zone. Not too low, not too high. If your audio is too quiet, you'll have to turn it up later, which adds noise, and if it's too loud, you clip in. You lose quality, you lose audience, and probably you lose money. Always leave some headroom when recording. This is the best practice, and you can test it real quick during your sound check. Just go safe and aim for the middle every time. Alright, you've learned how mic sensitivity, mic placement and gain each affect your signal. Let's put it all together and see how to make this work. It's actually simple, just like in case of the exposure triangle, where you choose one setting based on your creative goal and then compensate with the other two settings to maintain a correct exposure. You pick a suitable mic, it might be sensitive or not, so you adjust by moving the mic around and tweaking the gain knob. Your meter and your headphones help you check what's really happening. The whole point is landing your signal right in the sweet spot, in the middle. All three factors shape your signal, so which matters most? Where do you start? The mic choice, gain, or the placement? The answer really depends on what and how you want to record, but in the vast majority of cases we start by choosing the microphone compatible for our source and conditions. The second step is placing the mic close enough to the sound source, and only then we adjust the preamp settings, your gain knob. Let's take the most typical situation, recording a classic interview. Say we're shooting a standard medium shot at home. Our sound source, a voice, is pretty quiet, right? So yeah, we should probably use a sensitive mic. Since we're indoors and we've got decent headroom in the frame, we can place the mic overhead, maybe 1 foot away. That'll capture a nice detailed voice without having to crank the preamp too much. Easy. Now what if we want the exact same shot but not in a quiet room? Let's say we're on factory floor instead. To get good sound here, we need to think about the ambient noise right when we're choosing the mic. A sensitive mic is gonna pick up way too much of that loud background noise, and there's gonna be kind of a conflict between the ambience and the voice on your recording, which is not good. So what do? Either we use a less sensitive mic, one that'll grab less of the unwanted ambience, or we need to get closer. Small lapel mic could be a really good choice for this. And if the space is really loud, you can use both tricks, less sensitivity and shorter distance. That way you get a better signal-to-noise ratio and a usable level without all that environmental chaos. Of course, there are cases when you can make it differently. For example, people recording street interviews don't care about high sensitivity. Mic positioning is what matters most because they don't want to capture traffic or handling noise, they just want clean speech. That's why they first choose the mic position, and very close one. Since the source of the sound is very close to the mic, they compensate it with robust directional unit and appropriate amount of gain to get their signal in the green zone. Although classical music recording is quite the opposite case. You have to rein in your preamp not only because of the noise. Orchestras can be really loud and really quiet at different moments, so loud parts can easily overload your input. First, having a low gain is more reasonable in this case. Secondly, you'd need to pick up all that natural reverb of the whole, which means you'd need more distance. Since the position and the gain are sort of predefined down there, you really have no other choice but to compensate it with a high sensitivity. Well, we made it and I hope it's clear. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you demystify audio levels and set up your gear with confidence, hit the like button and subscribe for more tips. Got questions or want to see more deep dives? Drop a comment below, I read everyone. I'm Slaven Smyanov and see you in the next one. Bye!